It's the eve of Tesla's Investor Day 2023. So, of course, Elon Musk is completely focused on Tesla and Master Plan Part 3. No, it's Elon Musk. Of course, he's looking at starting a new company. Let's take a look. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. So first of all, I want to send out a little message to Elon Musk because I know he watches every one of my videos. Of course not, he never watches any of these things. But anyway, if somebody who knows Elon Musk and is in the right place happens to watch this video, I have a pitch for him. And it's a pitch for me or someone like me to be on the team at this new company. And I do have a rationale for that. It's not just a vanity thing. In fact, it's the opposite of that. But anyway, I'll talk about that at the end of this video. First, the facts. So yesterday evening, I noticed this from Tesla owners of Silicon Valley as I was making dinner. Breaking: Elon Musk has approached artificial intelligence researchers in recent weeks about forming a new research lab to develop an alternative to ChatGPT, the high-profile chatbot made by the startup OpenAI. And this, in all likelihood, arises from some February 26th tweets that Elon Musk put out, having a bit of AI existential angst today, and then after that, but all things considered with regard to AGI existential angst, I would prefer to be alive now to witness AGI than be alive in the past and not. Which then takes me to an article by theinformation.com. This is a San Francisco-based outlet started by Jessica Lessin, so I don't know too much about it. Unfortunately, it's behind a paywall, and I don't know enough about the company. It's not that I have a thing about paywalls. I just don't know enough about this publication yet to know whether it's worth my while. But anyway, this looks like a good start in my case. The title of the article is Fighting, quote, Woke AI, Musk Recruits Team to Develop OpenAI Rival. Elon Musk has approached artificial intelligence researchers in recent weeks about forming a new research lab to develop an alternative to ChatGPT, the high-profile chatbot made by the startup OpenAI, according to two people with direct knowledge of the effort and a third person briefed on the conversation. In recent months, Musk has repeatedly criticized OpenAI for installing safeguards that prevent ChatGPT from producing text that might offend users. Musk, who co-founded OpenAI in 2015 but has since cut ties with the startup, suggested last year that OpenAI's technology was an example of, quote, training AI to be woke, end quote. His comments imply that a rival chatbot would have fewer restrictions on divisive subjects compared to ChatGPT and a related chatbot Microsoft recently launched. To spearhead the effort, Musk has been recruiting Igor Babushkin, a researcher who recently left Alphabet, or Google, Alphabet's DeepMind AI unit, and specializes in the kind of machine learning models that power chatbots like ChatGPT. And of course, if you want to read the full article, I will leave a link in the description. So first of all, why is Elon Musk doing this? Obviously and famously, he put in somewhere, he and his friends, Sam Altman being one of them, who is the CEO of OpenAI, they put in collectively around $1 billion in 2015 to start OpenAI. And the important part of this is in the name of the company, OpenAI. The point of this was to guide artificial intelligence in a way that was good for the public, not good for commercial reasons. And obviously OpenAI, taking $1 billion from Microsoft, I think 2 years ago, and then another $10 billion from Microsoft. And Microsoft owns somewhere around 50% of the company at this point. And that's very confusing because they're officially a not-for-profit institution, but they have for-profit stakeholders. And that's just a whole mess. And I don't even pretend to understand how all that stuff works. But clearly OpenAI is not the kind of thing that Elon Musk envisioned 8 years ago. It was supposed to open source all of its stuff. It was supposed to make it freely available so that people could share it. It was supposed to guide AI in a way that Elon Musk and others thought was good for society as opposed to trying to make money. So clearly from things that we have seen in the past several months, and not just the two tweets that I talked about recently, but going back into 2022, well into 2022, and especially after ChatGPT came into existence in November, Elon Musk has been criticizing OpenAI quite a bit for not being open at all. So the likelihood that he would consider creating another startup that would be really open this time. And I suggested no really open AI for the name of the company, tongue in cheek, obviously. But anyway, whatever the name of this thing is, it does seem obvious that Elon Musk has been considering this quite a bit. He was concerned enough, in 2015, 8 years ago, well before the insanity of the latest, large language models and all of the stuff that's come out of that occurred. He was worried about the existential risk to humanity from artificial general intelligence. And so it would make a lot of sense for him to consider again putting money where his mouth is and actually trying to create a company this time that actually is more open source and more for the public good. Now, as for the title of the article, I kind of disagree because I think that Elon Musk, wokeism, he's definitely worried about that as an existential risk, but I think he's more concerned about the sort of arms race that we're seeing happening between Google and Microsoft / OpenAI now. And that is that both of these companies are seeing either an existential potential to take over a huge part of the search market and, eyeballs on the internet, or in Google's case, an existential risk to their business model. So both of them are going to kind of enter this thing where they're, ratcheting up the speed at which they develop these tools. And of course, the impetus will be to close all of this down and make it very proprietary so that people will be able to use APIs and actually access this, but they won't have access to the code to create open source versions of this. And if you haven't seen them, I've done a couple of videos about this very topic up here. They haven't been super popular because they don't have Elon Musk in the title, but I highly recommend watching them because I think that they are useful to understand what's going on here. And I believe that, Elon Musk is definitely concerned about this wokeism virus, as he calls it, and everything. But I think he actually has bigger concerns than that. I think he really is worried about the existential risk to humanity from AGI. Now, are we talking about conscious bots and things like that at this point? No, we're really not. This is artificial general intelligence, but not agent intelligence. And there's a really big difference between those two. Artificial general intelligence is something that is useful on a whole bunch of different realms. So narrow intelligence would be something that can answer a question about medical images or something. That would be artificial narrow intelligence, right? It's really, really good at spotting cancer in pictures that it sees because it's been trained for that. So that's narrow intelligence, incredibly useful. Artificial general intelligence, at least the way that I'm defining it, is something that can do that and a whole bunch of other things at the same time. In other words, it's not narrowly focused on one topic. It's able to do a bunch of things. And that's what large language models really can do, because it can code for you, tell you a bedtime story, search and get some recipes on the web, and tell you how to cook a really nice dinner for, your spouse or something like that. Anyway, it can do a whole bunch of things at the same time in the same model, and that would be artificial general intelligence. And then there is agent intelligence, and that is when it actually has motivation. So the difference between AGI and agent general intelligence, is that artificial general intelligence is still a tool. It's still something where human beings have to give it the impetus. They have to start it moving, right? It's the same thing as a hammer. A hammer doesn't really do anything until you actually pick it up and start using it. Artificial agent intelligence, maybe that's the way to separate it, AAI. Artificial agent intelligence is something where the computer itself will have its own motivation. In other words, it will do what HAL did in 2001. Well, hopefully not what HAL did. It won't say, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. But what it would do is it will be able to have motivation to do things on its own rather than only being motivated by a human being requesting something from it. It's the same sort of thing as full self-driving. Full self-driving is an incredibly complicated tool, a whole bunch of things, but it doesn't have any agency in the sense that it, doesn't know where to go. It's sitting in the garage until you tell it you want to go to Publix to go grocery shopping or something along those lines. And then it will proceed to spin out a bunch of things. So of course, the difference with that would be that the car would be listening to you have a conversation with your spouse or something, and you're going like, oh man, I really want to make X, Y, and Z for dinner tonight. And the car goes, aha, I'm going to go to Publix and I'm going to drop off the Optimus, Tesla bot, and it's going to go in and go shopping for you. And I'll surprise you when at 5 o'clock in the evening, you'll show up with groceries and say, here's the stuff for dinner. And maybe the Optimus bot will make dinner for you. That is a whole different level of agency there, right? So one is a tool. Artificial general intelligence is a tool. Artificial agency intelligence, or AAI, is actually something that is like a human being. It has agency and it makes decisions on its own. And I think that AGI, artificial general intelligence, is on the cusp of happening. And that is what Elon Musk is worried about. AI, artificial agency intelligence, is much further away, although maybe not as far away as we think. And that is something that Elon Musk is worried about as well. That's the bigger existential risk. So one of them is a risk from people. How do people use the tool, right? You can either use a hammer to build a house, or you can use it to kill somebody. It's a tool. It does whatever the human being tells it to do, for good or bad, whatever you want to consider that. When you get to artificial agent intelligence, then you're looking at something that's making its own decisions, and that's when the bigger existential risk comes about. So I want to be very clear about this because I think it's important to understand that in one case, we're talking about an existential risk and he's having angst, and it's a viable angst that we're going to see this arms race between several big companies to create the next just must-have thing that people are going to want to utilize either on their phones or on, web browsers or whatever it is, and that the humans involved will put profit above the good of society, and we could see society take a massive hit, or we could see society become encumbered by one or two very large companies, as if that's not already happening. Anyway, so that's what's playing out right now. The bigger risk to the actual existence of human beings themselves is if and when artificial intelligence actually gains agency on its own, and then it starts to make its own decisions. And that is even more than what's going on right now, what needs to be guided for over the next 4 or 5 or 10 years or something. So Elon Musk considering starting this company is a really good idea, which leads me to my pitch to Elon Musk or to anybody else who's listening to this. And that is that you need me, and I say me because I would be happy to do it personally, but you need people like me in the company. And what do I mean by that? I am by no means a world-class AI researcher, but I have an advanced degree, I have publications, I have a lot of experience in this area, but I also have experience in a lot of other areas. And clearly I've been a professor for my entire adult life. I care about the good of others. I put that before necessary profit. I do understand the motivation of profit, by the way, and I understand Sam Altman and everybody at OpenAI going like, holy crap, this is, somebody just walked up with a bag of gold and said, you're going to be richer than you ever thought in your life. Here's money. So, I do understand the motivation behind that, but I think what you need is people that understand that and understand the temptation, but also have a broad-based picture of what's going on. So they understand the industry from the inside out, but at the same time, they understand a bunch of other things from potentially ethics, philosophy, things like that, the good of society, education, thinking about the way that society can be impacted long-term by both AGI and AAI, and considering how to move us forward in the best possible direction to make that potential AI singularity into something where it turns out into, a unicorns and rainbow kind of world. Not that I think that will ever happen, but you know what I'm saying. The good outcome, not the bad outcome. So hopefully we can negotiate that, and hopefully this real OpenAI company or whatever he calls this thing will actually be something that can be utilized to guide society towards a better outcome with AI. Because whatever you think, this stuff is inevitable at this point. The genie is out of the bottle, and we are accelerating in terms of our ability to create these insanely complicated and beautiful AI models and also use them much to society's good or much to society's bad. All of that can happen. And it doesn't even have to be intentional, right? Again, like I said, this arms race that's going to happen means throw caution to the wind and put something out before you're absolutely sure it's ready to be a primetime sort of thing. And that can lead to very, very bad outcomes if you're not super careful. So again, I think this company that Elon Musk is talking about is critically important, and it is valid for him to take some time off from Investor Day and Master Plan Part 3 to think about this, because if, bad things happen, then all of his plans go to hell anyway, because you want society to be on a solid foundation. You want AI to be helping us, not hindering us. All of those things are critically important, and I can see why Elon Musk would take time away even now from his crazy busy schedule to consider starting a new company. Would he be CEO? No, not likely at all. But what he will do, I think, is bankroll this and try to create something that will be for society's good. And so Elon or whoever else is listening to this, if anybody actually cares, I really highly recommend not just getting the best world-class AI engineers, but also get people who not only have an inside understanding of what AI is and what it can do, but have a broader based understanding of the world at large and how important this all is. So anyway, if you want to hire me, I'm available. If not, I highly recommend recommend that you please look around and try to find people like that to hire for part of this team. Because quite frankly, the consequences of this are so large that I think it's critically important that the right group of people get put together to try to help negotiate the path towards not just AGI becoming a reality, but also AAI becoming a reality. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it fun and interesting and thought-provoking and perhaps a little bit terrifying. It terrifies me for sure. Anyway, if you did, please do like it so other people can find this, because that's how YouTube's AI works. And also consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. We are this close to 50,000 subscribers, and I thank you all. I really do appreciate you subscribing. And of course, thank you all so much to my patrons on Patreon. I really do appreciate your support. If you want to join the team before tomorrow's Investor Day, I will be on Discord. We will be having, chats and things like that while Investor Day is going on. And I will, of course, do a video after that. But if you want to participate in a live chat while this is all happening and see what other people, who are like-minded to you are thinking about it all, definitely check it out and join before tomorrow evening. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, Success is a Possible Outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on and on. So check it out. And finally, don't forget we are both Tesla and Amazon affiliates. If you look in the description, you can see how going shopping for a solar roof, a power wall, or anything on Amazon helps out the channel. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.